Hi, everyone. Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets here with your weekly marijuana market update. Now, today, I'm going to answer a question from a viewer who asked me about the cannabis grow supply industry. This is basically the companies that supply growers with materials they need to actually grow, which would be anything from lights to nutrients to anything like that. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Now, remember, if you do have a question about a cannabis stock or the broader market, email me at feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. And if we use your question in an upcoming video, and this could be for me or for Adam or for Charles, any one of us, and we use it in any of our upcoming videos, we're going to hook you up with some very cool Money and Markets gear. We've got hats, t-shirts like this one here, sweatshirts, other cool stuff that we're working on as well. Again, if you submit a question at feedback@moneyandmarkets.com and we use it in an upcoming video, we're going to hook you up with that. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, get notified each and every time we post up a new video. We do videos every week, so make sure you are locked in and getting all the most up-to-date information for your investment portfolio. And I encourage you to check out moneyandmarkets.com. On our website, you can search our proprietary stock power rating system and get the ratings of thousands of stocks on the market. You'll see a breakdown of the fundamental and technical ratings that make up the overall stock rating. Just go to moneyandmarkets.com, and on our homepage, you're going to see a search bar. Just type in any ticker or company name, and you'll be able to see that stock's ranking, a stock chart, fundamental data, any analysis we publish. It's all right there at your fingertips. You can also build your own watch list and track stock performance all on the site, moneymarkets.com, for free. Now, let's get on with today's update. William emailed me at feedback@moneymarkets.com, and he said, love the channel. Thanks for all the great info. Well, first off, William, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. My question is, who do you think comes out on top in the marijuana grow supply industry? I really like GrowGeneration, but I'm interested on your take. Do you think Scotts or Hydrofarm has a better business model? Or is there another player that I'm missing? Maybe a big box store like Home Depot decides to compete in this market too. Thanks again for all the content. Cheers, Will. Well, I appreciate the question, Will. Be on the lookout for an email from my team because we're going to hook you up with some Money and Markets gear for submitting that question and us using it. Now, to get into it, we can look at the three companies you mentioned, and I'm going to toss in another one that has some promising prospects. We can talk about that here in just a second. Now, it's for big box stores. I don't know that any are going to compete specifically with cannabis grow suppliers, but maybe on a broad scale. Unless federal legalization measures pass, which I don't see happening anytime soon, I just don't see stores like Home Depot or Lowe's getting too specific into the cannabis market. Now, let's start with GrowGeneration. It trades on the Nasdaq. The ticker is GRWG. I want to look at sales projections for each of these three companies to spot some potential trends. Now, first, I like GrowGeneration as a cannabis play. However, in looking at its projected sales, the fact that it will reach a record of $515.2 million by 2024 doesn't really stand out to me. The fact that does stand out to me is that sales are expected to actually drop this year and not get back to those 2021 levels until after 2023. Inflation is going to play a role here, but just a bit. Now, you have to keep in mind, cannabis is generally considered recession-proof as it gives growers an opportunity to offload supply and keep prices level or even lower in some instances, which is actually good for the consumer. However, materials to grow cannabis won't completely escape inflation and recession. Growers are getting hit when they sell their product to dispensaries because weed prices are level while material costs are actually going up. This forces growers to shoulder those material price increases and even limit the amount of material that they buy. But that's a whole different thing. But again, what stands out to me for GrowGeneration here is the fact that in 2022, this year, it's going to drop from 422.5 million to about 349.8 million in total annual income. Now, Scotts Miracle-Gro, which trades on the New York Stock Exchange under SMG, tells a similar story. SMG is one of the largest players in the supply game, mainly because they're diversified beyond just cannabis. This company sells fertilizer, all sorts of things that are used across landscaping and just a wide range. It's a very big company. Now, sales topped $4.9 billion in 2021, but are expected to drop 16% this year and not reach that record 2021 level until after 2024. Now, its sales aren't expected to grow at the same trajectory as GrowGeneration over the next 3 years, but they are going to grow, just not nearly as much. But again, they're not going to top that record 2021 until after 2024, which is a little concerning. Going up, just not as high as we'd like to see. Then we have Hydrofarm Holdings Group Incorporated. It trades on the Nasdaq under HYFM. Now, what's interesting about Pennsylvania-based Hydrofarm's holdings is that unlike GrowGeneration and Scotts, its 2022 sales are actually going to tick up, but only slightly. One wrench here for HYFM is that its president, Terrence Fitch, recently stepped down rather suddenly and announced one day he was gone the next, which could create some additional pressure depending on the direction the company goes under new leadership. Now, let me throw in a new player here to the game, and that's Agrify Corporation, which trades on the Nasdaq under the ticker AGFY. Now, it's a Massachusetts-based company, and it's much smaller than the previous three companies we reviewed so far. However, what stands out to me is that upward trajectory of estimated annual revenue. In 2021, the company brought in just shy of $60 million, about $59.9 million, but that's expected to jump 100 to $139.6 million by the end of this year. That's 133.1% jump from last year. By 2024, total annual revenue for Agrify will be $262.1 million. That's a record for the company. That's impressive sales growth in very challenging economic environments that we're facing right here. So in terms of a market leader, obviously Scotts is huge, but it's not specific to just cannabis. GrowGeneration or Hydrofarm lean a little bit more into the cannabis market, but flat or reduced sales this year are a bit of a concern. Now, if estimates hold, Agrify could be an emerging player in the game, but again, it's relatively small by comparison to the other three that we've talked about. Now, in terms of stocks, we can also compare the four here. Because of their stronger tie to cannabis, GrowGeneration, Hydrofarm, and Agrify all have pushed much lower over the last 12 months than Scotts Miracle-Gro. GrowGeneration, Hydrofarm, and Agrify are down between 88 and 93% over the last 12 months. Scotts Miracle-Gro, on the other hand, is only fallen about 53.6% over the last year. Ultimately, any stock with any tie to the cannabis market is going to face some serious headwinds, even with a federal legalization bill released in the U.S. Senate. But analysts, myself included, see slim to no chance of that bill actually passing. So the bump we saw in cannabis stocks last week was only temporary. We're going to see stocks push their way back down even more. So buying the dip, not necessarily the best right now because we don't know where the dip is. But to put a fine point on the answer to Will's question, Scotts Miracle-Gro has size and diversification to be a stronger stock. I'm still a fan of GrowGeneration because of its recent expansion, but I also like the long-term prospects of Agrify, despite it being a much smaller company than the other three. So, I think you've got options, and I think that any of these three, and you could maybe even toss in Hydrofarm there as well, any of these four could be possible good bets, but I just think it really just kind of is determinant on what it is exactly you're looking for. Are you looking for strictly a cannabis play? Are you looking for diversification? Are you looking for gains? Are you looking for a better business model? There's a lot of different things here that you have to kind of come into play. So it's really hard for me to really lock down one. I'll analyze all four as I just did, but in terms of which one to kind of put in your portfolio, really, I mean, GrowGeneration you can't really go wrong with. I think it's solid. Scotts Miracle-Gro is another good play here. I like Agrify, especially after looking at those sales numbers, if they hold. That's a big if, but I think they will. I think it's a small enough company and they haven't spread themselves out too thin. I think those sales numbers have the potential to hold, but it could also make it a target for acquisition as well, which could benefit if you're a shareholder. So a lot of different things at play there, Will. But again, thank you for your question. Appreciate it. We're going to reach out to you. My team will. And we're going to hook you up with some money and markets gear. That's all for me this week. If you have a question about a cannabis stock or the cannabis market, you can email me feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. It's feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. You can also comment below here on YouTube. But if you send us a question and we use it in an upcoming video, whether it's for me or for Adam or for Charles, then we're going to hook you up with some free money and markets gear. Like I said, I've got these t-shirts, we got hats, sweatshirts, all sorts of cool stuff. We're going to hook you up with them. And if you have received that in the past, I would encourage you, send us a photo of maybe you sporting some of that gear. Would love to see that. You can email those photos to feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. Don't forget about the great content we have here on our YouTube channel. It is the best investment insight, and it is all yours for free. You can follow me on Twitter. I give you even more insights, not just into the cannabis market, but the broader market, sports, all sorts of stuff. You can find me on Twitter @InvestWithMattC. That's InvestWithMattC on Twitter. Thank you for everyone who watches our videos each and every week. We do it because we want to bring you the best insights, not just in cannabis, but in broader investing and bolster profits in your portfolio, no matter what the market is doing. It could be bull, bear, neutral, doesn't matter. We are on the lookout for profitable opportunities for your portfolio in any market condition. Also, check out moneymarkets.com every day. We have content on there that provides safe, sound, smart, simple, and adaptable investment information for you. You can check out my brand new Stock Power Daily. It's where I tell you about one power stock every day, highly rated power stock every single day, Monday through Friday, and even on Saturday. And you can look for that at moneymarkets.com. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets, and your host of the Marijuana Market Update. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.